We're in this situation where, oh my goodness, let's just have a look. So here we have, thankfully, by the way, the graphic broke, okay? So is Britain completely, I don't know what the last word was on that. That didn't work either. So you've seen all the travel. So that this is the first thing, diversion and queues, and Ella was talking about the transport. Obviously, we mentioned the sewage as well, having to check your beach for sewage. Rod Stewart having to fix his own potholes. I mean, there's another example of broken Britain. Why aren't the councils doing that? I don't even need to tell you about the NHS treatment delays, people waiting more than a year, and food banks is a big one, which is the cost of living crisis. So I put those together: travel, potholes, NHS, food banks, sewage. You may have your own list. I don't know whether you've got any, Anne.
Well, no, I mean, I think the NHS is the one that would worry me most, because I'm of that generation that for decades we had an NHS that worked. You know, you rang up the doctor and you got an appointment that day. You just rolled up at the surgery and you saw the doctor that day. People as old as I am can remember when we just took that for granted. And now it's not working at all. Now, yeah, a lot of that is down to the COVID backlog. I do understand that. It's also down to the strikes, which I think have been wicked. But nevertheless, even before all of that, the NHS was coming under immense strain. So that does worry me. But let me answer your general question.
Go on.
And that, I think, is important. Is Britain completely broken? No, of course not.
No.
We live in a country that basically works. You know, you go to work every day, and on the whole, you'll be able to get the transport. You'll be able to go to work. You'll feel safe going to work. You come home to a meal on the table. Now, I know that there are exceptions to all of that, but basically, we in the West do not know we're born.
It's not like saying the car's not broken, the wheels don't work, there are no axles, there's no steering wheel, but the engine runs. So that's okay. I mean, the car is broken. We do live in broken Britain. I'll say, if I can add, Jeremy, violent attacks on minorities are on the rise. Average house price 8 times the average salary. And even our politics is broken. We have the two main political parties both rejecting a wealth tax, which is what we need to sort a lot of these problems out. So not only broken, there's no one preparing to fix it.
Any other small things in your life that are broken? I mean, I suppose local government, it's whether you get social care when you're older. We haven't fixed that. That's big though, isn't it? It's just, I wonder whether we're in this dangerous thing, Andy, where we start to look around and every time something doesn't work, like we're in a jam, right? I mean, I do this to my wife. I open the fridge door, there's no tomato ketchup. I said, broken Britain. It becomes like a narrative.
People stopping at the bottom of escalators and not getting out.
Yeah,
broken Britain.
Exactly.
I get it, but I tell you what.
But that's dangerous.
But the response that we have to that is because we have been built up this head of steam of different things not working and things being very anxious all the time. And that's why we respond with this anger. I mean, just look at social media. We're broken on social media. I think we're broken-hearted, Britain. That's how I feel.
Roy in Wolverhampton, let me ask you, Roy, do you think we are broken now, this country?
I think we're worse than broken. I think the Conservatives have trashed it. I think looking at what they've done, how many glitches can we let them get away with? Travel's gone, NHS, O2, air pollution, boats, the small boats coming in, the water. Everybody else is to blame, So who is running the country?
So you can't swim in the sea to escape it. I suppose arguably you might, if you say, would you be somebody, Andy, who says, look, that if you think Britain's broken, you used to be able to say, I'm going to go and live in Italy. You can't even say that anymore.
Yeah, so that was often the response.
You wouldn't want to do that, Roy?
No, I love this country. Born, bred, wedding, dead, all in Wolverhampton.
You miss your football, I bet.
Oh, we missed that years ago, didn't we?
Well, then I thought Wolves are doing okay. Go on.
Some of the most patriotic people who are British live in Spain, don't they? I think we've learnt that over the last few years.
In Gibraltar.
And they've realised that maybe they shouldn't have voted for Brexit after all. I mean, it is, look, let's not overlook the fact that Brexit is part of the reason why we're broken, also why we're broken as a society. And there was a civil war, I think, that started at that point, and we're still in the middle of it. We will look back in 100 years and see that. The division in society is really deep.
Well, has Brexit broken us?
No, Brexit hasn't broken us. I mean, if Germany's in an unholy mess at the moment, largely because of its energy policy. It hasn't left the EU. There are all sorts of countries who've got really big problems. They haven't left the EU. The idea that Brexit broke us is a nonsense. Brexit could yet make us, if only we took advantage of it. You see, Andy says that he thinks our politics are broken. I agree, but for different reasons. And one of the reasons that I get so frustrated, one of the reasons why I've left the main party that I belong to, is that I think that we've had this opportunity, Britain voted for it, and we're making absolutely nothing of it. And we're shadowing the EU, which
well, maybe we couldn't make anything of it because in the end, I don't know, we're going to end up this thing in Northern Ireland. We can't sort it.
We could really have made something of it in the last budget. We could have gone for growth. We could have differentiated. Let me finish. I knew you were going to say Liz Truss.
Well, she did that, yeah, and look what happened.
Yeah, what happened was that she mishandled the whole thing. But we could have gone in a much wiser way for growth, instead of which what we did was to raise corporation tax to the same level as France. Now, if you're a big business and you look between France and Britain, you say, well, why would I go to Britain?
But then we are kind of piling up the reasons why Britain's broken, aren't we, here? Because if we've also got the highest tax we've had since the Second World War, apparently. So
that is true.
So maybe it all adds together. We love your cause, but maybe we're being too negative because, Roy was saying, I said to Roy, why don't you move to Italy? He said, well, I couldn't leave it.
Yeah, I want British birdsong.
I do love this country. Yeah, I love this country. So maybe we're not broken. You tell us. 0207 862 2222 and we'll see you in a moment.